Hello everyone, this is Evie the Original Master here, and I want to make another video regarding to my new series that I'm currently producing at the moment, the Powerpuff Girls Powerfueled series, which is my take on the popular series from Cartoon Network, and to give out some changes and some comparisons between my series and the original series that's what the series is based off of is because that I do want to give out my take and what I would like to improve on the series as we move forward. So let's do some similarities real quick with this series before I get to the comparisons. So what's similar about this version of the Powerpuff Girls, my adaptation of it, that is similar to the original, as in the one that came out in 1998 through 2005, is that I try to stay true to what makes the Powerpuff Girls a unique show. The characters in the series are likable. I don't try to make these characters unlikable because that will ruin the tone of the show. And I do try to make the characters stay true to themselves. Like Blossom, she's the leader. Bubbles, she's supposed to be the cute one, and Buttercup is like the straight man who's like she has a short tempered. She mostly has the most to say about certain things, and she does has a short feud at times. But at the end of the day, they're all sisters and they like each other. So I do try to stay true to the original series by having the characters like each other instead of them being antagonistic to one another and being jerks to them. They do bicker every once in a while, but I try to make them stay true to their characters. Now, another similarity with this show to the original is like the opening cutscene or the opening intro of the show. As a matter of fact, the opening dialogue is actually ripped from the original show, and it's not like my version of it where I do like a narration of the opening theme. I decided to do my version of it by just taking the original audio and try to recreate the theme song by making my own scenes and squeezing in clips from the original theme song. Same can be said with the little heart endings where it shows the little heart background and it shows the girls at the end. I try to do that. So yeah, I do try to squeeze in elements from the original show by trying to do my own thing. And the ending credits is also very similar to the original show, where it has the same ending credits theme by BIS. Yeah, that's the name of the band who performed the ending theme for the Powerpuff Girls back in the day. Pretty catchy theme song or ending theme. My mistake there, but it is what it is. Now, moving on to the differences. Now, the big difference of this show is that it's a bit more edgier in my opinion. Well, the reason I say edgier is because I try to make the characters be more edgy, like they say mature words, but not vulgar language, like swearing and stuff like that. There isn't any swearing, is because that the show isn't meant to be vulgar, and I'm not doing an adult series here. This is just my take of the Powerpuff Girls. I'm making them a lot more edgier by them saying words that are like more PG level and stuff like that. Um, there is some pop culture references in this episode, like there are parodies in the show, similar to the original. Like I have a Dora the Explorer parody called Nora the Explorer, and I don't know if I'll make another children's show parody of the show. I think Nora the Explorer might be the only one. I also did a Star Wars parody in the episode Bubbles in Space with Mojo, Jojo, and Bubbles fighting with lightsabers. It's kind of like a Star Wars parody. And yeah, another difference is that the action scenes in the show is a little minimal, and that's where I do want to try to improve on that. Is because that if you, as you guys notice in the series, that there is some action in it, but it's not that much of it. Like for example, like in the episode Bubbles in Space, there was that big climatic action scene with Mojo and Bubbles fighting with the lightsabers. That's an action scene because they're actually fighting with weapons, and Mojo did end up defeating Bubbles at first, but she got her comeuppance. I'm probably mispronouncing the word, but she got right back up and defeated him. And then there's Garbage Day Disaster, where the action in that episode wasn't that epic because it was just because all the girls did was just rammed into the monster and they just defeated him that easily. But I do want to try to expand on the action scenes a little bit more by actually having the enemies like fight the girls instead of just having them just stand around and not do as much. I do want to try to improve on the action scenes if I do try to incorporate them into the show because I do want to stay true to the original despite the series not being animated. It's just still images, but I try to make the best of it by adding um, some action scenes. Another difference is that there are a lot of slice of life episodes in the show, just like the original. Like in the original Powerpuff Girls, for example, there were episodes that actually dealt with kids' issues. Like for example, like there was an episode in the original where it was raining and then the girls had to stay inside and pretend to be the citizens of Townsville and the villains. There was another episodes that kids dealt with, such as taking baths, eating vegetables. In my series, I do try to squeeze in more conflicts or slice of life that a kid will deal with. Like there's going to be a future episode about vaccinating, like getting flu shots or being vaccinated or whatnot. That's going to be a future episode. There's another episode that deals with addiction called Sugar Rush, where the girls discover energy drinks and they become so addicted to it makes them sick, I guess. So there's going to be an episode about addiction. So yeah, there is going to be those type of episodes in the show. But I think the one thing that I do want to improve on the most, and that is kind of like the action scenes. I do want to try to improve on that, but it will most likely be for like the climactic endings where the big climax at the end will include action in it, while the first half of the episode will most likely be world building, or well, not world building, like story building. Like there's a conflict at the beginning and then there's like building up to the climax where that's where the girls actually fights the villains and whatnot. So yeah, my main priority is that I do want to try to experiment more on the action scenes a little bit more, and I do want to experiment more on the series. Like for example, like did do a few experimentations, like with lighting, for example, like in the episodes Him in a Box and Dream On. I experimented with the lighting where for example in Him in a Box, the scene where Him appears, I made the background all red because Roblox Studio has a feature where you can change the ambience color. You can like change the color of the ambience to where it's like black, green, yellow, or whatever. You can change the color of it. So I made it like a red background. And then in the episode Dream On, I had the girl's bedroom very dark when I changed the ambience color to black, so where the room is very dark. And I will be incorporating that more into the series. Like I'm doing a lot of experimentations to make this series fun and enjoyable for you guys to enjoy it. So yeah, so that's all I would like to talk about with this series, is that I want to make this version of the Powerpuff Girls my own by doing my own thing, like doing my own dialogue without going too overblown with it with too much adult humor. In fact, there was only one adult humor that I did, was in the beginning of the series with the first episode where Buttercup was punching her meat, and I made it like an adult innuendo. And I don't think I'll try to do more of that because I am aware of a few adult innuendos, but I don't try to go out my way and learn them all, just because that as an adult myself, I've never really dealt or tried to know all those innuendos because I don't really watch a lot of media and I can care less about that stuff because that's not who I am as a person. But yeah, so that's all I'm here to let you guys know on this video. It's just wanted to give you guys a little heads up of what I would like to improve on this series, is try to do more action, like try to make the action scenes a little bit more unique instead of just the girls beating the enemies that easily and not excuse me, sorry. My throat's getting a little bit messed up because I'm talking too much, but I would like to improve on the action scenes more by actually having the villains do more than just standing around and letting the girls fight them that easily. I want to try to make the action scenes more dynamic, and I will be starting to do that later as the series progresses. So The action scenes, I will try to make them a lot more unique, and I would like to experiment more on the lighting and stuff like that. But yeah, the series is going to be a lot more experimentation for you guys to get an enjoyment out of it. So yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy Powerfueled as much as I am making this series. This has been a fun series. I'm enjoying coming up with fun dialogues for the characters and making them do all these funny things, and trying to stay true to the original by having the characters likable. They're not that jerkish to one another. There are jerks to every once in a while, but I try to make them stay true to their characters. And with that said, that's all I'm here to let you guys know in this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.